Hello again, or welcome if this is your first time here. I am Sam Simon, the Dementia Man who is on an existential journey. You can learn more about all of this, of course, on the website, www.dementiaman.com. The theme of today's video blog is taking it to the streets. As I said last blog, and to remind you, September is World Alzheimer's Awareness Month. What I want to talk about today is a phenomenon coming in a few weeks, taking it to the streets. Now, in my last blog, I talked about my mission of living my disease out loud and proud, be part of the growing movement to destigmatize neurologic disorders, also known as dementia, and to raise awareness that this journey can be taken with love, meaning, and grace. Personally, I quickly found out that I am not from Mars, my favorite adage or reminder to myself that when I experience something, the odds are I'm not the only one who does. And that is absolutely true about dementia, a word, by the way, that I hate, and I hope we eliminate from our vocabulary. But more about that in a minute. You know, there is a growing and wonderful movement afoot to dispel the tragedy narratives around the condition, Alzheimer's and other neurocognitive diseases, and for a transformation in the world to accommodate and empower those of us with the disease and those who care for us, and those that love us. Most immediately, or that is today, I want to bring to your attention a global movement called Reimagining Dementia. You can Google that phrase and find the links on the web. And they have a campaign called Taking It to the Streets. And again, Google Reimagining Dementia, Taking It to the Streets, and you'll find their material. It is a fabulous moment. I love what they're doing and what I'm doing because I fully signed up for it. I'll tell you more about that later. Mary Fridley, who is a friend of mine, is the coordinator of Reimagining Dementia, a global movement, a justice movement. And you can see more about that if you go on YouTube, and we'll have a link here for it. And if not on YouTube, in my blog on the website, Mary has a beautiful 1-minute description of taking it to the streets and what we're trying to do. Now, just my personal note is I was personally beginning to get confused, forgetting things, getting lost, frustrated, and often angry. I didn't know what to do. The journey of discovery of how to get help, hearing the news that I had early stage Alzheimer's and then trying to understand what it meant was terrifying for me and my wife. The system is badly broken. I don't yet know how to characterize exactly how it was that I was able to find the path that I'm now on, of writing a play and becoming an activist. Perhaps it indeed is just who I am. My life's work over the past 78 years has always been part of the justice movement in this country. I was a consumer advocate with Ralph Nader, a public affairs advocate, even breast cancer awareness advocate, as my wife went through advanced breast cancer. She's fine now. I can tell you some of my early thoughts were dangerous, including the possibility of ending it all right now. It has occurred to me as I've gone through this, and now as I fully embrace my journey, We never want bad things to happen to us. And when they do, we have choices. One is to curl over and perhaps die, maybe, as I did think at one time, end it all right now. Or take a breath, embrace it, and to make the best of whatever time we have left with whatever is happening to us. That's my goal. And I attribute part of that to finding colleagues and partners in movements like the Joy of Dementia and Mary Fridley and many other similar kinds of organizations. But we are not the mainstream in America. Unfortunately, the mainstream in some ways is driven by the medical world and by a history of confusion. You know, I'm reminded of cancer's early emergence onto the public consciousness. But when I was growing up, they wouldn't even say that word, the C word, cancer, right? You couldn't say it. And unfortunately, the word we have now, dementia, the D word, is mentioned, perhaps. It is still a dirty word, and it is the horrible word. In my play and in my life, I want to replace that. I'm sure I'm going to eventually launch a contest. What's the best word to describe the condition of cognitive decline? You know, the medical world itself has already done that themselves. They don't use the word dementia. We are not mad. We are not crazy. We're just cognitively impaired. It's called a neurocognitive disorder in the medical world now, and there's either major or minor. And I've got a minor neurocognitive disorder, early stage Alzheimer's. I will probably one day have a major disorder. I will have advanced disease. The present me will disappear and someone else will occupy this body, not something else, but someone else. But it has occurred to me that the largest generational cohort in the country's history is now aging out. Technically, I am a pre-baby boomer. I was born in 1946, 1 year before the boomer generation began. Therefore, 1946, I think 1954-ish or 55. That cohort has driven the economy and every part of America as it aged through it, from grade school to high school to workforce. Every part of the world was transformed by this gigantic population moving into it. And now it's moving into its last era and ages. Many of us, millions, are becoming cognitively impaired. The world doesn't know. And I think we're going to teach the world. And I'm so proud to be part of this effort and campaign, is going to be able to help teach the world to see this not as the tragedy, not as the end of it all, but at the beginning of a different kind of journey. I urge you all to read my printed blog, to see some of the materials. Mary Fridley, who is the coordinator of taking it to the streets, has a YouTube video called Reimagining Dementia. She's got a 1-minute explanation of our goals and objectives. So I encourage you to link and listen to her. Listen to her video. The task is going to be at your door soon, if not already. If you, yourself, or someone you know, someone you love, is affected by this disease. Our goal is to radically adapt our social and physical infrastructure in America, and indeed the world, so that it will welcome those of us with a cognitive decline efficiently and effectively into society, both physically, emotionally, and with the services and accommodations, medical treatment, redesign, and new approaches to training, and welcoming us in stores and sidewalks. You know, I was active during my life. I was on the board of directors of the World Institute on Disability, and I've been having conversations with them today. The disability movement was founded to reimagine welcoming those with significant physical and physical disabilities, walking, wheelchair, but blind and deaf, and some cognitive disorders, to create independent living systems, to require accommodations in the physical world, the service world, the medical world, and to treat those with disabilities as well as everyone. I love the example of theater and movie houses and TV. Blind and deaf people for years couldn't be accommodated, not even with telephone service, much less being in a theater or a concert. And then we developed captioning, then we developed what's called audio description. And today, the blind and the deaf are able to enjoy the arts, the theatrical arts and the TV, and even Zoom, as well as anybody else. We can do that for people like me, people with cognitive decline and disorders. So I hope I can encourage you to click on the links on my site to Google and find Taking It to the Streets, find it, events in and around your communities, take part in them, and be as welcoming as possible. And then help me figure out how to get rid of the word demented. We are not crazy. We are not mad. We're not stupid. We're just cognitively different. What word can we do? What is an easy to roll off the tongue word that can replace dementia? Medical world use neurocognitive disorder, major and minor. I'm minor at the moment. Maybe just cognitive disorder, or cognitive thing, impaired. I've got a cognitive impairment. That could be as easy as dementia. I hate the word. Thank you very much. And please take it to the streets. Google reimaginingdementia.com, Taking Streets. And then I found, and you can Google it too, there is a song called Taking It to the Streets. It's not our anthem, but maybe it could be. And thank you for listening, and hoping to see you on the streets in a not too distant future.